Evil Rangers are Rangers that are brainwashed to turn evil, created to be evil, or are corrupted. Evil Rangers are either evil doers in their own right, or the agents of evil. The majority of Evil Rangers are clones of Power Rangers. Although their outfits are identical to those of the Ranger counterparts, they occasionally have little modifications. However, certain Evil Rangers don their own outfits to entirely set themselves apart from their Rangers' equivalents and use special skills and talents that neither the Rangers nor the evil counterparts possess. Today we dig into the backstories of 20 such Power Ranger teams and individuals. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel, because this is just a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. So thank you, and let's begin.
Been gods.
Lord Drakon. Lord Drakon featured in The Boom Studios during the Shattered Grid event as the main antagonist of the series. He was the unjust and evil partner of Tommy Oliver. Tommy Oliver comes from a parallel universe where he was the dictatorial emperor of a technologically superior dystopian Angel Grove with an army of Ranger sentries. They both share the same historical events up until the final battle with the Red Ranger, who is named Jason Lee Scott. During this occurrence, Rita's curse leaves Tommy to be free. But Tommy doesn't join back the Rangers, and Zordon flees. He flees from city to city while evading arrest by the Rangers. With time, Rita catches Tommy and persuades him to join her cause while talking about the stories of a young man named Drakon. Rita saw the immense potential in Tommy for forging his own legacy under her guidance. Tommy was astonished and interested and left with Rita. Tommy believed that Rita meant to improve the world through her conquest and aided her by taking one city at a time. Eventually, much of the Earth's population embraced Rita's rule, as Zordon got ready to make a new Power Ranger that was more potent than any that had come before. They both engaged in one final fight against him and his final army of Zords and Rangers. Jason was being infused with his new power at the command center when Tommy broke in there before Jason could finish the process. The two had a final fight, which Tommy won. Tommy then took that power for himself and came out of the command center with Jason's broken helmet in his hand. The Power Rangers and the Zords were then defeated at the hands of Tommy and his forces. He successfully conquered the Earth in Rita's name. Immediately after these events, Tommy learned Rita's spells as she taught him. Tommy became so corrupted that he aspired to rule the world on his own as a result of Rita the sorcerer's overconfidence in her servants, which was contrary to her counterparts. Tommy ended up killing Rita, even though at the same time he vowed to keep continuing the work that Rita was doing. He gained the loyalty of Finster, whom he turned into a cyborg using the parts of Alpha 5. Tommy, who is now known as Lord Drakon, used the Power Coin energies to manufacture the Ranger sentries, each of which played a certain part in his army, but he lacked Billy's coin as it was hidden from him by Trini. The former Rangers then made up the group called the Coinless, who resisted Tommy. Skull, while not known to Tommy, has successfully infiltrated Tommy's army disguised as a Tyrannosaurus sentry. Kimberly Ann Hart has been engaged in her own campaign of retribution against the Dark Lord Ranger ever since Drakon's regime murdered Billy and Matthew Cook. But as soon as Drakon used one of Rita's spells to produce a brainwashed Ranger Slayer, she was quickly indoctrinated. Psycho Rangers. The Psycho Rangers were developed as the Space Rangers' murderous, demonic opposites. The Psycho Rangers were created by the wicked Princess Astronema to harness the might of her adversary Dark Spectre. These Psycho Rangers were designed to keep an eye on the energies, voices, and communication sounds of the Power Rangers in order to catch them. Even while they posed a significant threat to the Ranger team without all of its members, each Psycho Ranger had a distinct combat style that was not beatable by the Ranger that they were the evil versions of. The blue, yellow, pink, black, and red Psycho Rangers made up the Psycho Rangers, while Psycho Red served as their captain. Astronema utilized the Psycho Rangers in this way to weaken Dark Spectre, who he wanted to replace, and to eliminate the Power Rangers. In addition to their ranger forms, they also possessed monster forms, and as the plot developed, it became clear that when their ranger forms were destroyed, they instantly reverted to their more overtly monster states. The Psycho Pink Ranger became a monstrous giant and attacked Cassie with the Yellow Ranger. However, they were overpowered by the Rangers, who successfully outmaneuvered them. TJ realized that the Rangers could never defeat their Psycho counterparts on their own. Then, by dressing up as the Blue Ranger, the Rangers hoped to catch the Psychos off guard and finally capture and eliminate Blue Psycho on his own. In an effort to make up for this, Astronema gave the remaining 3 Psycho Rangers voice recognition software so they could determine which Ranger was their enemy. As a result of this attack, the Psychos stole the Mega Voyager from the Rangers. But in the last battle with all 3 of their Mega Zord, the Rangers were able to retake the upper hand and take on all 3 monster form Psychos. Later, within Secret City, the Psycho Rangers' spectral forms were brought back to life once again and began to assault the Power Rangers. They once more assumed their monstrous forms, yet they continued to be human-sized. Once more, the Rangers were able to digitize them, keeping them on a number of key cards in the hopes that their adversaries would become imprisoned and helpless from that point forward.
Let's just think about this, okay?
Oh, shit.
Rita Repulsa. Former Power Ranger Rita Repulsa had turned on her teammates. She joined Zordon's crew as the first Green Ranger and still uses their abilities in addition to her own. Rita Repulsa visited Earth during the Cenozoic era to steal the Zeo Crystal. The Zeo Crystal was a powerful artifact which could be used to harness the power of life and death. But as a result of its extraction, all life on Earth would become ultimately extinct. Rita wanted to create a golden monster named Goldar that had the ability to pull the Zeo Crystal from the Earth's surface. The Power Rangers from Zordon's original squad fought Rita, but they were ultimately defeated when Rita was able to murder everyone but Zordon. Rita and Goldar were the recipients of a meteor that Zordon directed Alpha 5 to reroute as a last-ditch effort, attempting to stop Rita. Goldar was destroyed by the explosion, Rita was placed into a coma, and the dinosaurs were wiped off. Rita's comatose body is currently decomposing at the bottom of the ocean. Dark Rangers. The Dark Rangers are the second group of Evil Rangers team that the Boom universe featured, who were created by Lord Zedd in the series. They were created because the first team failed to defeat the Power Rangers. Lord Zedd returned to his native planet of the Moon after being freed from his rubbish incarceration on Safe Haven to devise a new scheme to defeat the Rangers. He used a creature named Psycho Slug that had the crystal concealed within its shell to deceive the Rangers into replenishing the green Chaos Crystal. The monster sustained the majority of the damage when the Rangers used the power cannon to kill it, since the crystal absorbed some of the energy from the weapon. When the Rangers attempted to approach the shell, it was still intact. Zedd then teleported back to his home planet of the Moon. He said that he would give Goldar, Finster, Squat, and Babu control over the Chaos Crystal because they had shown their loyalty to the Wicked Emperor by making an effort to kill the Rangers in his absence, even though they had failed. Lord Zedd argues that the failure of his last team of Rangers was caused by their weak human characteristics. He would not make the same error again. Rita Repulsa is released from prison to take charge of the newly formed Dark Rangers after the gang unanimously determines she is the Red that they need. The Dark Rangers were made by Lord Zedd by combining his goons with a putty Rita Repulsa.
A-Squad! Let's do it!
A-Squad. The first team of the SPD Power Rangers were called the A-Squad. They were recorded to be the best in the academy, but they disappeared after being dispatched on a mission, leaving the B-Squad Rangers in charge of defending Earth. They were first thought of as Earth's allies, but they were actually traitors who joined Emperor Grum after betraying the SPD. Viewers were continuously informed of the heroic deeds and astonishing achievements of the A-Squad during the course of the Power Rangers SPD's season. However, they are identified as traitors to the SPD and their fellow Rangers when they are encountered around the conclusion of the season. The first female Red Ranger to appear on television served as the team's leader. They weren't indoctrinated or under a spell, they were purely and simply wicked. The crew was eventually apprehended and imprisoned by the B Squad heroes. In Power Rangers Hyperforce, they would make a comeback only to establish themselves as an anti-Rangers squad. Evil Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The main adversaries of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1 episode A Bad Reflection on You are evil copies of those Rangers known as the evil Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Rita dispatched the Twin Man to Earth after Finster had made him. The idea was to paint the Rangers in a negative light and alienate the people. They would assault the city when the Rangers were absent. Twin Man arrived in Angel Grove with a cunning scheme. While he was changing into Jason, he changed 4 putties into 4 Power Rangers. Following that, the putties changed into their other 4 Rangers and started acting like gangster bullies around the city before threatening Mr. Kaplan. Twin Man and his henchmen at Angel Grove High School ruined the water fountain with shampoo. After the principal ordered the genuine Rangers' arrest, Twin Man morphed into the Red Ranger and joined the other bad Rangers in an assault on the city itself. The 5 managed to break out of jail in order to stop the crooks, but Zordon, Alpha, and the heroes finally realized that it was all part of their plan. The 5 evil Rangers assaulted the actual 5 as the Rangers arrived to stop them and engaged in battle with the bad guys. While the other Rangers engaged in combat with their own doppelgangers, Twin Man and Jason battled to a close draw. By using their own power weapons, the girls Billy and Zach vanquished their evil twins and turned them back into putties. The final remaining evil Ranger at that point was Twin Man. The monster was transformed back into his true form as Jason turned the tables on the Twin Man and kicked him in the chest. Twin Man attacked the Rangers with a baton that he wielded like a whip, knocking them to the ground. Despite their recovery, he surrounds himself and the Rangers in a kaleidoscope-like dimension before shaking the earth under them and shooting them to the ground. He then charged towards the fallen Rangers, but was disarmed and appeared to sustain a critical wound after a severe strike from the Blade Blaster Tower formation. The Rangers ultimately defeated Twin Man, and he was destroyed by the Power Blaster, which put an end to this terrible Ranger team. The monster was disarmed and ultimately severely hurt.
I also have chosen 5, my Dark Rangers, to destroy it!
Dark Rangers. The new bullies at Angel Grove High were Justin, Zane, Bobby, Tina, and Kristen. They were so nasty that even Bulk and Skull were scared of them. The Rangers were alerted to their newest dangers when they sent Bulk and Skull rolling towards Tommy Oliver, Billy Cranston, and Zach Taylor in garbage cans. Bullies believed they owned Angel Grove. This is the reason why Lord Zed chose them to be his Dark Rangers. At the beach, they ran across Billy, Zach, Jason Lee Scott, and Kimberly Ann Hart. Zed sent the bullies to the other world before they could engage in combat. The group officially changed into the Dark Rangers once the green crystal had been full. The Dark Rangers refused to listen when the Power Rangers tried to explain to them what Zed would actually accomplish. Their powers were lost as Tommy shattered the crystal, and the Dark Rangers also lost their abilities. They made peace and grew up to be friends with the Power Rangers when they returned to Angel Grove. The Shadow Rangers. The spirits of Master Fant, Master Swoop, and Master Finn were used to create the sub-team of 3 Jungle Fury Rangers known as the Spirit Rangers. The Spirit Rangers were originally adversaries of the Jungle Fury Rangers until they were freed. The Spirit Rangers were first created by the Phantom Beasts and controlled via the Crystal Eyes. In their debut, they engaged in combat with the Phantom Beasts' possessed Jungle Fury Rangers. RJ later learned how to disrupt the frequencies that connect the Masters and Spirit Rangers, which allowed him to drive the spirits away. Once Master Finn is imprisoned within one of the Crystal Eyes by the soul of the Shark Spirit Ranger, RJ alters the Claw Cannon to contain the spirits of the elephant, bat, and shark animal spirits. After the Phantom Beast tries to hurl the eye into the water, Flit saves it and gives it to RJ. After everyone is saved, the Spirit Rangers under their command engage in combat alongside the Jungle Fury Rangers. Then, the Masters permitted the Rangers to command the Spirit Rangers, which they would later call into combat when necessary.
yourselves!
Oh boy!
Evil Mystic Rangers. In episode number 28, the evil clones of the Mystic Rangers known as the Evil Mystic Rangers made their first appearance. Hecatoid created them to be a formidable opponent for the Rangers. They could be distinguished from their good Mystic Rangers by the color of their collars, which were black as opposed to white. The Evil Mystic Rangers are the main antagonists of the first episode of the two-part series Light Source. Hecatoid abducted the Mystic Rangers and had them participate in his games, which is how he came up with the Evil Mystic Rangers. The Rangers were transformed to Hecatoid's play area where he claimed to have prepared a dangerous opponent for them. The Rangers were astonished to see their evil duplicates when the Terror then revealed them to the heroes. The only difference between the good and evil Rangers was the black collars. The heroes would now battle one another. Hecatoid warned them. The Rangers engaged the clones in combat, but they were just as strong as them and not at all less combative than the Rangers. The good and evil Rangers engaged in an equal opportunity combat, but the Rangers were unable to defeat the duplicates. Nick, Xander, and Vita were later transformed into dice by the evil Red Ranger. When Madison faced the villainous Pink and Blue Rangers, they transformed into gigantic, odd-looking toads. Maddie was about to be devoured by the toad when the Blue Ranger entered Legend Warrior mode. She released herself and used the tidal wave to slay the toad. Chip utilized his Maggie staff in crossbow mode while in Legend Warrior mode to take down the hostile red, yellow, and green Rangers. The actual good Rangers and the evil Mystic Rangers both have the same skills and abilities. They battled the heroes on an equal footing because they were just as powerful as the real Rangers. They were equally nimble and adept combatants. The evil Red Ranger's power to transform the Rangers into dice was another one of his terrible traits. The wicked Pink and Blue Rangers had the ability to transform into the enormous toad as well. The only weakness they possessed was that they couldn't transform into the legendary warrior mode. Korag the Night Wolf. Leanbow is the husband of Udana. He is also the biological father of Nick Russell, who is also known as Bowen, and the uncle of Claire. He was also the mentor of Daggeron and Kalindor, who was known as Korag after being turned into him by Octimus the Master. He joined the Rangers after being saved by Udana from the underworld as the Wolf Warrior. Kalindor disliked how honorable and brave Korag was. He can enter Ancient Mystic mode as a Mystic Wizard to change into a fiery red or purple warrior equipped with a sword and shield. Leanbow commanded the other Mystic Wizards in the great battle against Octimus, the supreme master of the underworld, and his Morlocks, the undead armies, under Mordecon, to stop them from capturing the human realm 20 years before the start of the series. When the armies of good magic ultimately forced the Morlocks through the gate of the underworld, Leanbow personally confronted Mordecon at one point. He prevented the forces of evil from leaving the underworld by holding back the Morlock hordes as Nyella, the gatekeeper, closed the gate, leaving Leanbow inside. Nyella would exhaust her last resources as a gatekeeper and lose her life energy, and Leanbow would be lost to the forces of evil with only one move. For 20 years, Udana and the others were of the opinion that Leanbow had perished in the subsequent conflict behind the gate and was no more. Mordecon and the Mystic Rangers are not as strong as Korag, who is much stronger. Korag is seen to be powerful enough to beat all 5 Mystic Titans, including the Mystic Minotaur, in battle and utilize his shield to briefly fend off the Mystic Speeder during its initial battle in the 2-part episode Stranger Within. The fact that Korag hardly moved in response to direct shots from the Mystic Speeder and the countless stabs and blasts that Claire the Gatekeeper fired at him with little to no damage indicates that his armor is exceptionally strong and can sustain repeated assaults without failing. By using the words Youth Cestos, Korag may call forth a getaway that allows him to travel to any location at any time. Korag can create a black tunnel through which he may pass and enlarge himself by using Youth Major. Korak has the power to create and cause any monster to grow by using the sentence Euthra Major, rise up. Korak has the ability to activate a purple portal and transport a monster into the real world by using the incantation Euthra Norca Orzero. To ensnare the adversary, Korak casts a yellow energy barrier. Korak is shown to be indestructible like Necroli in the second half of the two-part episode The Gatekeeper, because even after bursting from the same attack that broke his weapon, if destroyed by his opponents, he can reconstruct himself in a matter of seconds. As seen in the episode Ranger Down, Korak could summon a bright purple ball that contains his dark magic abilities and battle only with his physical might at command. However, even without his magic, Korak is still a formidable opponent. Korak has the ability to transform an object using his abilities back into a purple ball by using the words Youth Negrucius. Ranger Sentries. Ranger Sentries act as Lord Draken's army in the world of the Coinless. They are humans, and each soldier is identified by a different piece of mass-produced Ranger armor. The Ranger Sentries made their first appearance in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic published by Boom Studios, and they have been crucial to the events of the comics. They're Rangers because the morphing grid gave rise to their abilities. When Lord Draken defeated the original Rangers, he absorbed their abilities and transformed regular troops into super warriors. Mastodon, Sabretooth, Pterodactyl, and Tyrannosaurus Sentries made up the whole original set. However, this was eventually increased. The new Sentries covered every hue of the Ranger wheel except for purple, and featured Green Zeo, Blue Samurai, Silver Space, Jungle Fury Rhino, and Dino Charged Gold Sentries. They bear sole responsibility for the murders of several innocent civilians.
Steel. Wow, burn this crazy town. Feels good, don't it?
Evil Ninja Rangers. Evil Power Rangers Ninja Storm were the Ninja Rangers' malevolent counterparts who were from another realm. Tori Hansen entered another dimension unknowingly. This is when she found out that the Rangers in this dimension were evil when she returned to the Ninja Ops. These evil Rangers chased her out of Ninja Ops. She asked Mara and Capri, who were two hippie folk singers, for help. Mayor Lothar, who shielded away from facing the Rangers out of fear, is sought out by her. As a result of being forced to face the nefarious Rangers alone, Tori had a difficult time. Lothar then appeared with his own special forces to fight off the rogue Power Rangers. After being beaten, the Rangers were pressured to give up their criminal behavior. Soon after that, Tori went back home to her dimension. Crash and the Creeps. These villains started out as members of Turbo Pink Cassie's band and are merely rock stars looking for a break. The Angel Grove Kids' popular song Confusion disrupts the Rangers and the other teens' ability to focus. The Basso Sentai Zoku Ranger from Geketsu Sentai Car Ranger served as an inspiration for the group's looks. The greatest difference between them is their attire. Crash and the Creeps, while morphing, do not share uniforms or costumes, but instead, each has their own different motif, with Crash being a warrior and the others being based on diverse animals. This was the first time that a Pink Ranger was a male as seen on television.
Ready. Fire.
Evil Power Rangers Time Force. The evil version of the Power Rangers Time Force was the Evil Power Rangers Time Force. They fought each other in Turtle Khan's pocket dimension. They were destroyed with the disappearance of that actual dimension.
Here, Draven. Attack!
Robo Ranger Army. Lord Draven commands an army of hundreds of phony Rangers known as the Robo Rangers or Ranger clones. They come in a wide range of varieties, each of which is taken from a different Power Ranger. The ambitious Lord of the Antiverse, Lord Draven, wanted to rule the multiverse. In order to gain control of all realities, he joined forces with Madame Odious in the Antiverse, which was his home planet. Odious was instructed that she should be in charge of the Prime Planet while he ruled the lesser worlds. They intended to invade using the Robo Rangers, created from the technology she gave by utilizing the Mega Eras to destroy the barriers between the realms. The clone of Tommy Oliver acted as Davin's right-hand man. After Preston tried to use his Dragon Zord to remove the Mega Arrows from the Antiverse, they first emerged as a single army. Then they used their numerous blasters to shoot the Rangers out of the sky. Even though the legendary Rangers had fortunately arrived to assist, Draven recovered his arrows and gave the command for his soldiers to assault the Ninja Rangers. The Ninja Rangers swiftly overpowered and eliminated several of the Robo Rangers with the aid of the legendary Rangers. Then they banded together and used their sidearms to eliminate the final survivors. Cyborg Rangers. The Lightspeed Rescue Power Rangers robot clones, the Cyborg Rangers, were designed to replace the original Lightspeed Rangers. This was shown in the episode Cyborg Rangers. Following their battle with the demon Striking, the Lightspeed Rangers arrived at the Aqua Base. They were told by General McKnight that the Cyborg Rangers would take their place. They apparently had 10 times the strength of the original team, and the Cyborg Rangers were about to murder Striking when he launched a lightning bolt that led to Cyborg malfunctioning and launching an attack. The Cyborgs were shot down by the Rangers using their blasters. Mutant Rangers. In the episode Mighty Morphin Mutants, a group of evil Rangers known as the Mutant Rangers acted as the primary adversaries. Rita had observed Tommy experiencing memory problems and getting in trouble for being late with Miss Appleby, Bulk, and even Skull. She intended to create the Mutant Rangers to eliminate the genuine Power Rangers after realizing that Tommy wasn't flawless. Goldar taught the 6 putties that were chosen for this job to battle the Power Rangers in a quarry. The Red Mutant Ranger was intended to be one of the putties, but he kinda wussed out and failed the exam, therefore only 5 of the putties made it through and received the Badges of Darkness. Goldar turned it back into clay for Finster as a result, and Rita ordered Finster to construct Commander Crayfish even though she was aware that the unit still lacked a leader. Lord Draven's Forces. A gang of insane villains known as Lord Draven's Forces rule over the Antiverse, a different world resembling medieval Japan. The main enemy in the Remembrance episode, dubbed Dimensions in Danger, is them. Lord Draven, a warlord who resembled a samurai, has long dreamed of taking control of the whole cosmos. He ultimately got in touch with Madame Odious, the head of the Galaxy Warriors, in 2018, and they came to an arrangement whereby she promised to give him foot soldiers and technological assistance in exchange for his assistance in getting the Power Stars. In order to do this, Odious gave him Basher bots, Kuda bots, robotic cloning technology, and androids to be used with the cloning machines. Draven did this by kidnapping a number of people, including Tommy Oliver, TJ Johnson, Trent Fernandez Mercer, Gia Moran, Antonio Garcia, and Rocky De Santos to use as the basis for the clones that would make up his Robo Rangers. After assisting them in obtaining the Blaze Zords, Wesley Collins, Gemma, and Coda were compelled to enlist the Ninja Steel Rangers' assistance. They discovered that one of the Robo Rangers was now Draven's second in command, and that Odious planned to have them fire some magical arrows to penetrate the space barrier. However, in order for this to be effective, the sky had to be glowing red. The Ninja Rangers engaged Draven as the others liberated their fellow Rangers as they followed him into the Antiverse. Trent Fernandez Mercer. The protagonist of Power Rangers Dino Thunder and the White Dino Ranger, who is also the love interest of Kira Ford, is Trent Fernandez. As strange things start happening, Trent begins to wonder about his father Anton Mercer's motivations. Trent discovers a dino gem that has been corrupted by evil, which causes him to transform into the villainous White Ranger. Along with his father Mesagog, he takes part in the Power Rangers struggle. Trent eventually joins the other Power Rangers once the evil of his Dino Gem is vanquished. As Mesagog, he makes a pledge to keep his father's identity a secret until Anton figures out how to get back to normal. When Trent encounters an evil White Ranger clone, he is forced to confront his past. Within the morphing grid, there is a fight for control over who will continue to serve as the White Ranger. With the defeat of the White Ranger clone, Trent successfully triumphs over his troubled past. Trent has extraordinary speed and the ability to blend into any surrounding thanks to his Dino Gem. He's also got access to Dragozord's strength. Goldar. Goldar was one of the 2 minor adversaries of the Power Rangers Zeo and the most powerful warrior and commander of the evil space aliens that served Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed. Goldar and Silverback were 2 of Lord Zed's most skilled soldiers who had achieved several triumphs in his honor. Each of their victories brought his race a new piece of armor. Their best combatant was said to be his brother Silverback, with Goldar following him. Zed's messenger showed up a day after another win over a resistance planet and informed Goldar and Silverback that he wanted to meet them. Zed's actions following his episode with the Zeo Crystal had led the two brothers to assume that he had gone weak, but Goldar chose to continue to show respect for Zed in contrast to his brother, who was getting frustrated. In contrast to rejoining Rita Repulsa in her fight against Zordon, Silverback told Zed that he preferred to serve with the Dark Spectre. Silverback was fatally injured by a powerful red energy shot from Zed's staff, and as a punishment for his betrayal, Goldar beheaded him with his own sword. After this, Goldar agreed to join the fight with Zordon. Zordon eventually locked Goldar and the rest of Rita's gang inside of a trash can. Goldar, who was nearly on par with Rito Revolto in terms of strength and was even stronger than Squat, Babu, and Finster, was the fourth most powerful member of the evil space aliens. Rita, Zed, and Master Vile were still considerably more powerful than him, though. To evade assaults, Goldar could make himself disappear into thin air. To help him fight the Rangers, Goldar had the power to call in both Putty Patrol iterations. Jason could be engulfed by fireballs that Goldar might shoot out of his eyes if he tried to escape him and King Sphinx. When combined with Scorpina's Claw Barrage, it overpowered the Thunder Megazord and forced the White Tiger Zord back into Tiger mode. Given that Rita was ill in the A-Star is Born episode, Goldar and Scorpina extended themselves to help Babe Ruthless.
Let's rock and roll! Barracuda Blade!
Marvelous verdict. Several of the Power Rangers series have introduced evil Power Ranger counterparts in several of their episodes. Some have done it well, while others have failed miserably at it. However, all of the bad Rangers in the respective series aren't evil. Lord Drakon or Tommy Oliver, the evil Green Ranger, have been the most successful evil Power Rangers amongst them on the screen. And if you liked our content, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. And in the meantime, have a good one and be safe. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah! Rangers together! Fire!